Live from Cheney Stadium in Tacoma, Washington, it's Wednesday night USL Championship action as Tacoma Defiance plays host to expansion side San Diego Loyal SC here on ESPN+. Hello everyone, thank you for joining us. Delighted to have you with us. I'm Andrew Harvey alongside Dave Clark. And Dave, this Tacoma side looking to bounce back from a frustrating loss at home last Friday night.
One of the advantages of the quick turnaround is they don't have to dwell on that loss. They just focused on getting ready for Landon Donovan's San Diego side.
San Diego looking for their first win in club history. They got their first goal but settled for a 1-1 draw against Las Vegas in a match that drew 6,100 down there in California. And they come in here tonight with Cutis Lawal and Irvin Parra, two players that we're quite familiar with.
Yeah, when Landon Donovan built his squad, some of the people he was looking for were players that did quite well in the USL Championship. So he grabbed two forwards last year that both had double-digit goals. Irvin Parra comes from Las Vegas Lights, and then Cutis Lawal from Fresno FC, where he resurrected his career. It was a great year for Lawal. Look for those two to combine up front. They had 10-plus goals each last year. Let's see what they do this season.
Well, for Tacoma, we're talking about the defense, but we're talking about the defense that the strikers provide. Chino Perez was everywhere for Tacoma in the attacking half with that high press against Reno.
Yeah, San Diego's keeper is not going to be able to sit on that ball and pick his plays. Perez or whoever's at forward is going to pressure that man, and they're going to force bad plays from that back line, from that keeper, forcing Tacoma to play the ball quicker and faster because they'll have the ball within 40 yards of goal. And when that happens, good things happen. You saw that with Chris Hagart's goal to open the USL Championship season even.
San Diego on the road for the first time in club history. We'll see how they stack up against Tacoma Defiance. Kickoff is next on ESPN+. Welcome back into Cheney Stadium here in Tacoma, Washington. It is time for kickoff between San Diego Loyal SC and Tacoma Defiance here on ESPN+. Andrew Harvey alongside Dave Clark on the call for you. And Dave, time now for our multi-care pre-match health report. Once again, good news. No injuries listed for either one of these sides.
Yeah, it's a good fortune there for both coaching staffs to have full selection, and both of them used it with a lot of changes from their games over the weekend.
Yeah, San Diego Loyal manager Landon Donovan in particular, 9 changes to his starting 11. Let's take a look at that starting 11 now. And like you said, really just 2 players, Elijah Martin and Grant Stoneman, in that back line who are helping hold things down.
There'll still be a few, though, that sports fans everywhere are familiar with. Colin Martin is well-known. John Kempen has been around all levels of American soccer for some time there at keeper. It's a solid squad, and it's one that's built on a lot of experience, particularly from Fresno FC earlier in the year.
Not quite 9 changes for Tacoma Defiance, but still over half the lineup getting swapped out by boss Chris Little.
Yes, 6 changes for Tacoma Defiance. They brought back Justin Dillon up top, who will play the role of Perez and harass Kempen throughout the match. Also, Danny Leyva there in the hole as one of the central midfielders. So some talent that has performed well with Tacoma throughout its existence.
Your referee tonight is Luis Guardia. Assistant referees Cameron Seiler and Corbin May. Well, Defiance out there will move from right to left on your screen in the black kits with the white trunks in your first half. And San Diego in the high-vis, all orange coming back the other way.
We will not miss them this evening. There's about as much contrast as you can have between these 2 uniforms this evening.
Absolutely. One thing we will miss tonight is the normally rowdy Defiance crowd that we've come to rely on here at Cheney Stadium. Again, this match by order of Governor Jay Inslee, as all gatherings of more than 250 people
being ordered to be played behind closed doors tonight. So, bit of an interesting atmosphere, and Dave, you have to think of how Tacoma will adjust.
It'll be a little bit different for all teams tonight.
Francis Atwahene, the current loanee from FC Dallas, is over the ball at center circle, ready to get us underway. And there is the whistle, and we are underway. Once again, just thank you for joining us on ESPN Plus, and we hope that from wherever you're tuning in, you are happy, safe, and healthy. 90 minutes of USL Championship action on the midweek. Dave, this San Diego side settled for a draw in their first ever competitive match against Las Vegas Lights at home last weekend, and now they'll be looking to try to take 3 points on the road.
Yeah, it's an interesting first road match for Coach Landon Donovan. It's going to take some getting used to say that name as a coach. But he had to make some changes with the short rest. That Saturday to Wednesday is a challenge throughout the season. Still has a lot of veterans to lean in on.
Alex Roldan thrown down the line toward Justin Dillon. It's turned over. Looping inside, it's knocked away from Avila. Hyen is there. Up the far side. And sent in by Jeremy Ngom. Stoneman. Near side to Hyen.
Little 4-1-4-1 action from Tacoma Defiance here early in the defense.
It'll be interesting to see what Tacoma does with the ball tonight as Alex Roldan wins the free kick on advantage there on the far touchline. We kind of mentioned in our pre-match show that there was a lot of high press from Tacoma in that first half against Reno 1868. And you kind of saw toward the end of that match, Dave, it looked like they ran out of gas a little bit. Do you think they have more in the tank tonight, or will they ease up on the press a little?
Well, on that front line, you're only going to see one player that played in that Reno 1868, that started in the Reno 1868 FC match. That's Shannon Hopi outright. We know he has the lungs for it. Justin Dillon was just a substitute over the weekend action when he was with Sounders FC before the loan down to Tacoma Defiance, and then Ezreal Gonzalez was a reserve in the Tacoma Defiance game on Friday night. So they should have the energy to be as active as possible up top.
Reynolds back to Taylor Mueller. Going up the far side for Josh Atencio, wearing the captain's armband for the second time this season. That's Abdole Sissoko with the ball at his feet, and he, a very interesting story indeed, a newcomer to Tacoma Defiance this year, the man from France.
He lived in San Diego last year, played for one of his relatives' teams, a rather well-known soccer player by the name of Demba Ba.
I'm unfamiliar with him, Dave.
Other players that came either through the club where A.B. Sissoko learned to play, or from his own hometown, Patrice Evra, Thierry Henry, just, you know, your average run-of-the-mill soccer players from a town of 2,000.
Yeah, that's the most remarkable part of all, isn't it? Just tiny little town, outskirts of Paris, and now Sissoko hoping to become the next great one of those names.
And tonight you'll be able to hear the Tacoma Defiance players call him A.B. Sissoko. They do not refer to him as Abdole or Sissoko, just the quick and easy A.B.
Here's Hopiau up the far side, cross into the middle, and flash header over the bar. Azriel Gonzalez can't cash in, and that kind of continues a little bit of a run of bad luck he's had between the sticks right in front of goal.
Yeah, that's a short-range one that he'll want to capitalize on. You'll see, and here he has the right angle, he has the right space. If he can just bring his head down, that's a goal.
And Gonzalez went off the right post. when Tacoma was searching at the time for an equalizer when they trailed Reno 2-1 in what proved to be a 3-1 loss last Friday night in their season opener. And certainly Chris Little expects his side to be very tough to beat and to win the majority of their matches at home this season. Long shot there, going to sail wide of the post.
And you'll notice there San Diego Loyal looks like a very conventional flat 4-4-2, which may be fitting if Landon Donovan is your coach. He knows how to play in that formation quite well.
Here's Trey Muse. Low ball there from Muse. Bounces through Stoneman, just rattles it back downfield. Ngom gives chase, gets the first touch, but it's a heavy touch and gone out for a goal kick.
He came in out of nowhere there, just surprising rolled on out on the flank where Alex just expected to have plenty of space.
Flick on header, Hopiau gives chase and knocked cleanly away by Stoneman there. Thrown in, finds Robles, cuts that ball inside. Daniel Leyva loses out on it. Leyva, a youngster, but in a way, one of the players with the most top division experience on this starting 11 for Tacoma Defiance.
It's hard to call any of them youngsters after last season. Leyva, about 1,600 combined minutes between USL Championship and MLS action last season.
Signed to a Sounders FC contract in Major League Soccer, currently down on a short-term loan agreement. And of course, one of those players who has scored at the professional level. He scored in the second division. He thought last year that he'd scored his first goal in top flight soccer, only to have it waved off by VAR. The conundrum? The professional referee organization later said the goal had been incorrectly disallowed. Still, though, at 17, Dave, you think he can probably afford to be patient a little bit longer.
Just 16.
Goodness
Think
me,
for
you're
like
right.
a week and a half or two more.
Ball over the top, flag stays down, but Avila has to hold up his run to get it. Atuahene bullying his way inside here. Moshe Bane applying the defensive pressure to Sissoko. He gets the ball outside and Roldan sends away.
Loyal are very good at that quick strike, creating something out of just patient play in their backfield and managed to create chances from seemingly nowhere.
Well, we certainly talked about the strike ability of Irvin Parra, Cutis Lawal up top in our pregame segment. Lawal, of course, on the bench tonight, but the two guys they have slotted in there tonight between Moshe Bane and Atuahene, pretty capable strikers in their own right. Danny Reynolds feels a little bit aggrieved to have that call go against him. Martin. Back for Clementa.
There aren't many USL Championship squads that can have multiple double-digit goal scorers available, whether starting or on the bench.
Well, certainly San Diego has the flag up for offside there against Jeremy Ngom on the far side. Certainly the club seems to kind of recruit for itself. A lot of energy behind it. Big, big crowd down there. 6,100 plus for their first ever match last weekend. You got Landon Donovan at the helm, and worst of all, Dave, you have to consider living in bright, sunny San Diego.
It's not my thing, but I can understand why it's some others. Plus, I know they've got a crowd tonight down at Stone Brewing, watching their watch party there as they support Loyal on the road as well.
Back to John Kempen, really his first involvement of the evening. Little redirect on the header there, too long, goes to Mueller. Reynolds brings that ball down. He's going to go over the top. Azrael Gonzalez gives chase. Stoneman has the inside line. Resets to Kempen. Well held in there by Hyen. A sliding challenge puts that ball out of play from Gonzalez. Here is Yair Hyen, the Panamanian. Spent his entire pro career prior to this season down in Panama. Most recently with Costa del Este FC. Ten minutes gone, no score here at Cheney Stadium. Reynolds. Robles does something with the return, but it's turned over. Avila attempted to be smash clear. Hopiau pokes it through. Justin Dillon can't bring the ball under control inside the penalty area. And now stretching things the other way, Atwahene forcing the pressure on Sissoko. This Tacoma back line cannot switch off for a single second. You get the sense over the course of 90 minutes tonight, Dave.
Yeah, they've combined their youngest and freshest center back in A.B. Sissoko and then Taylor Mueller, both new to this squad. Taylor Mueller obviously has plenty of experience.
All-time USL Championship leader for minutes played. Climbing up the leaderboards for appearances. Here's Danny Robles. Tonight, his 202nd career appearance. Puts him third all-time. Robles switching to the far side. Hopiau gives chase. Hopiau driving in. Stumbled, gone down, and Luis Guardia is happy with the challenge. Atencio wins it back for Tacoma, goes in rashly and draws the free kick. Ngom, the guilty party.
Josh Atencio is not moving much, though he did wave off a visit from the trainer.
He just wants a moment to collect himself.
You see here, Shandon Hopiau breaks in and does go down, but it seems to just be standard contact that you can expect in the box.
So it's Reynolds and Leyva over the ball. Reynolds showed some impressive set-piece chops in that season opener against Reno. On the way from Leyva, low ball. Mueller gets a header to it, and Atencio on the volley sends it over the bar.
Interesting options there with Reynolds providing the in-swinger and Leyva being able to curl at the head. Not necessarily complicated, but it will be one that San Diego Loyal will have to pay attention to throughout this match.
Reynolds wins the header. Gonzalez, the return to Reynolds. Robles looking to turn. Colin Martin breaks it up. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select's the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Defiance trying to close the dragnet of pressure here. Reynolds trying to sweep it inside. Atwahene drops back. A couple of kind of clear-cut chances for both these teams, Dave, over the first 14 minutes, but really it's been a battle in the middle third.
Yeah, those central third battles are interesting because the modern game, nobody wants to play there, and yet this is the match where it's all that we're seeing. San Diego does have 4 in the middle, which can reduce to 2 if there's wide play. Tacoma Defiance will have 3 in the middle, which can get kind of cloggy. I expect San Diego to cheat with their midfielders and bring them in.
Big switch to Ngum on the far side, and well, too vertical, it drops in for Muse. Roldan brings the ball under control. Gone over the top, Justin Dillon racing forward now. First touch comes off his knee, and Clementa deals it away. Reynolds taking space. Cut inside for Gonzalez. Gonzalez hit from two sides, and the ball gets away from him. Avila. Ngum. Now this, an organization, Tacoma, from top to bottom of the academy all the way up to the Sounders in Major League Soccer. If you lose the ball, you are expected to lower your shoulder and fight for it back. Misplayed header there. Hopiao, if he can bring this under control, had space. Referee's happy with the shoulder charge. Again, shoulder to shoulder on the ball, always acceptable. But it has to be a fair challenge for the ball. High end drives a low shot, redirects off Sissoko, and Muse doing well not to concede the corner.
Alert play by Muse. I think last year he might have just let that one drift out. This year, stopping it, maintaining possession for his squad.
Elijah Martin heads it as far as Mueller. All just kind of rattling around between these two sides right now. No real established runs of possession at all the last 5 minutes. This is Ngum. Colin Martin. And Stoneman. Makangila.
And San Diego's going to keep trying to work it on that left side. That's where they've seen their success so far this match.
Swung near side to high end. Options in the middle. Space to the byline. Chips it over the top. Ngum gets a touch at the back post. And you could see as that ball kind of rose into his field of view, he wasn't sure if he could keep moving forward, if he had to backtrack to collect it.
If either coach would like me to change the point of attack again, I'll just let me know. I'll mention that it's on one side and it'll immediately go to the other.
Well, we talk a lot about the broadcaster's curse, Dave. No one ever talks about the broadcaster's blessing. Stoneman finds Avila over the top. Atwahene. Moshabane. Roldan gets the ball away and got steamrolled, I believe, by Ngum after the ball went away. Pardon me, that was Atwahene, it appears, in on that tackle.
Taylor Mueller wants more than a foul called. He won't get it, but he asked for more.
It's Alex Roldan, younger brother of Sounders FC midfielder Christian Roldan. Of course, Alex also signed to a Major League Soccer contract with Sounders FC. Played his college ball right here in the Puget Sound area at Seattle U. Here's another look at this.
And he has the time to collect and just gets run through after the ball leaves his foot.
Hughes gone up to Dillon. Popped up by Colin Martin. Robles goes up for it. Smash clear by Hyen. Gonzalez now. Sends that ball over the top. It's a nice curling ball that's just a little bit too vertical. Pretty impressive vision from Gonzalez, and that ball tucked out for a Tacoma throw.
Yeah, I think Loyal bailed Defiance out on that one because that ball was probably going to be a goal kick.
Well, there was so much action on it, you would almost forgive Clementa for thinking that it had taken a deflection on its way in. That thing had a wicked curve.
And it did surprise Shannon Hopiau a little bit. He didn't expect Azrael to get that ball into that space. He wasn't really sprinting onto it.
Clementa heads it clear as far as Leyva. Ngum does his part. And it'll be easy pickings for Sissoko. Gonzalez inside for Robles. Over hits him and it's knocked away. Makangila with the interception there. Wins the throw-in for his side as well. 19 years old, the man from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and kind of one of a number of youngsters on the San Diego side that sort of has looked to strike a balanced mix between players with a lot of veteran experience at this level and some promising young talent.
Might be a good squad for the Football Manager fans out there.
Elijah Martin gone up the middle. Avila dispossessed by Robles. Leyva. Gonzalez.
Azrael did not have that passing lane that he wanted.
Sissoko. Got to see him put his pace on display a couple times during preseason as Reynolds taps that ball into touch.
Defiance coach Chris Little really likes Sissoko's feet. He's a natural center back, but likes to get forward similar to when Josh Atencio plays center back or Sam Rogers, that pretend midfielder.
Well, the old adage about center backs going forward, you can absolutely do it as long as you happen to be right and spark a really great chance. Sliding through there for Ngum. That's a well-weighted ball. Ngum gets the ball past Alex Roldan, goes down, but he can't equal the feat. And in the end, a pretty easy call for Luis Guardia, the referee.
Consider that one of those smart fouls. It doesn't give a card and it stops what was a promising counterattack.
Death, taxes, and soccer players arguing over the spotting of a ball on free kicks, Dave.
Yeah, it's a very important part of the field where you don't want to give up that extra 2.5 yards.
It's just that competitive spirit. Hyen knocks that down. Reynolds cut inside for Robles. Very little room for Robles to work so far. He's been swarmed every time the ball's come his way. Benefits from a call from the referee there. And I think Stoneman just talked himself into a final warning.
And the center referee doesn't think he was quite paying attention to the play, so brings it back to restart that kick.
It's one of those kind of gray areas where, again, you are technically entitled to restart play if the referee has not ordered you to wait for the restart. Collision there along the fall side. San Diego comes away with it. Through the middle here, Atwahene. Sissoko tracking back, pokes it away from him. Wants the ball out for a throw.
And he'll need to listen to Taylor Mueller right now because the left center back is not where he would normally be.
Ratsuahene tried for the quick cross. Hopiau cuts it inside for Leyva. Clementa back for Kempen. Right up the middle goes Kempen. Makangila. Ngom may have been offside there, he was. But you can see how the Cameroonian is just lurking, inching closer and closer to that back line. He's nearly caught them out in space a couple of times.
And that left wing position is where Christian Francois made the team of the week with Reno 1868 last week against Tacoma Defiance. So, per chance, Landon Donovan watched some tape, liked what he saw out there.
Leyva wants Gonzalez.
Big switch.
Picked up by Roldan. Dillon. San Diego's back line very organized and setting a very high line of confrontation. Looking at Leyva. Reynolds recovering to that ball. The return down the line for Gonzalez. Flag stays down. Gonzalez to the back post. Comes behind Hopiau. Roldan arrives. Lifts it in on a second touch, just over the head of Dillon, and headed out for a corner. The first of the match in the 28th.
And that's a sequence that's going to frustrate both coaches because the ball shouldn't be able to go through the area that frequently without getting a shot on goal.
Danny Reynolds lifting the outswinger. Robles shows near side. Ball headed away by Avila as far as Leyva. Atencio is offside. Don't miss a minute of action in 2020. Sign up today and get alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for Tacoma Defiance and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores, plus get reminders on Tacoma Defiance's next match. Go to ESPN.com and click follow for your club. See now that Hayen and Ngom have inverted, switching up the sides of attack and maybe seeing something they might be able to exploit in this Tacoma back line. Ratsuahene giving chase. He and Sissoko arrive at the same time, and Sissoko's won the throw, and San Diego not happy with that, and the linesman is overruled by the center referee. And I think he's given a free kick as well.
Might even call that a double overruled.
Which on replay certainly seems to be the right decision. Sissoko arrived with an awful lot of force and got an awful lot of Atwahene. Quick restart will not be allowed by the referee.
Now both sides have surprised the referee with a quick restart.
Colin Martin over the ball. Struck to the back post. Free header, and it's turned in. Dipping onto the foot of Atwahene, and he bags a road goal. His first of the season, just past the half-hour mark. San Diego's on top.
The service was almost ideal. It forces Trey Muse to guess where that ball would wind up being shot. San Diego's able to put it across into the far post using that angle that Muse opened up to them.
Tacoma playing from behind with just about 14 minutes to go until halftime. Looking for an equalizer now. Well held there by Ngom. He wins the throw in. Smashed in by Stoneman, back out by Sissoko.
That's a full retreat by Loyal.
Moshobane to high end on the far side. Well, had everything going but the ball there to the Panamanian. And Makangila wins it back with authority. Ngum, early cross, that struck Reynolds' arm. It'll be another free kick. Well, Reynolds will protest his innocence, but not much you can do about that. Your arm's outstretched, it's away from your body. Ball hits it. That is pretty much a handling offense 10 times out of 10.
Just a quick trigger. Danny trying to spin out of the way. No kind of intent to redirect the ball with it, but a clear and favorable call.
Might have just been a glancing touch off his leg. Couldn't quite tell from that angle. Meantime, another set piece from Colin Martin. Notched an assist on the last one. Martin, shallower ball this time into a cove of bodies. That should stay with San Diego, and it will.
It was almost too close to goal for the curl that he had on that ball.
High end, cutting inside. And drops off to Stoneman. Far side, Atwahene. He stood up by Hopiao, who stumbles and wins the free kick. Well, the USL Championship makes its regular season debut on ESPN Deportes Friday, March 27th. Two of the top contenders in the East meet as the Tampa Bay Rowdies host Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC. It's the championship on ESPN Deportes from Tampa Bay, Friday, March 27th at 4 p.m. Pacific.
It's a great part of that new ESPN contract, have the matches in Spanish this season. And it's Alex Roldan that is down. Something that occurred after the foul got called. He was uncomfortable, sat down, and they asked for the trainer quickly.
Won't get that foul. And yeah, Roldan, who was off the ball there, wasn't even the fouled party. It was Hopio drew the free kick and didn't quite see anything in that. Roldan going to walk off under his own power here. And it looks like they're set to make a change. Anthony Burke ready to sub in for Alex Roldan, who it appears is unable to continue. So Defiance forced into using a change before halftime. And here is Anthony Burke.
San Diego had to deal with that in their home opener. Joseph Greenspan was replaced due to injury early in their first half last week. Burke offers more speed dribbling down that right side. Better recovery because of that. And as another former attacking midfielder learning right back. Also some ball control. He wins the ball and bursts forward.
Gonzalez back to Reynolds here. Gonzalez from the wide position. To the byline. And muscled off the ball.
You can hear Kempen in his back line screaming up. Trying to get San Diego to play a much higher line rather than that low block.
Atuahene. Back to Clementa. Elijah Martin into the middle for Makangila. And Atencio misplays that. Hayen looking to move up the far side. Now Hayen into the middle. Taylor Mueller knows what he's done there. And won't be surprised if he sees yellow, which he will. Kind of a necessary foul after the failed clearance along the far side.
Even at a yellow, that's okay. It was 2v1 for orange versus black there. Catching up from behind, stopping that should give the opportunity to Tacoma to recover from that unfortunate turnover.
Remember, not eligible for a dog-so defense as there were other defenders in Hayen's way. So theoretically, another defender was capable of playing that ball. Very high standard of evidence needed to send a player off. There it is again.
It's A.B. Sissoko that's back, and Hayen probably was unfortunate in getting fouled there. He should have passed that ball off faster.
Here's the free kick. Low ball bounces into the wall, rattles around, and will be cleared away. It's more and more why you see walls refusing to jump on set pieces. After a couple of highlight reel goals have been scored right underneath them. Ball launched now toward Gonzalez. Stoneman, though, has the better line. Reynolds, long throw up toward Dillon. Controlled by Colin Martin, sliding in Atencio, he has it back, pardon me, that's Robles. Avila gets it right back for San Diego, Sissoko sticks a foot in. Leyva to the far side, finds Burke. Hopiau, the overlap for Burke. Burke, low ball to the byline, giving chase and redirecting it behind the net.
Justin Dillon just could not curl all the way around that ball to get a cutback pass. But Coach Little will like what he saw from Anthony Burke and Shannon Hopiau in their exchange.
A strong interplay between the wing and the fullback. And one of the other benefits to having the two players out there together, they really kind of came into their own, found a great understanding of one another over the course of last season. Burke, too far inside. One away there by Clementa. Kempen. Atwahene, Reynolds, Atencio, all fighting for it. Now Moshabane. Colin Martin cleans it up for the Loyal. Here's Ungom. Drops that ball back. Avila collects. Far side, Hyen. More great stuff from the Panamanian. Now, he has caused all sorts of problems for Tacoma here over the span of the first 42 minutes, Dave.
It's whichever player's been on the left there. Hyen is on the left and having success there, and I believe earlier in the match it was Ungom that was on that left side also quite successful.
Atencio just thumps it downfield. Dillon tries to knock it back for Robles. And Reynolds, second time tonight, his touches let him down.
One of the things San Diego's done a little bit better in that central third is when the ball breaks free of those scrums, they're just more active in chasing it down in the open space and then converting it into an effective attack.
Dillon here fights his way in. He's in a wide position. Dillon squares it to the back post. Ball held up there. Robles charges toward it but can't get here. And San Diego very poised in their clearance.
Dillon surprised a few of his teammates winning that ball on that final touch of his. Just didn't have the support from Danny Robles or Shannon Hopiau that he had expected.
Kempen deals it away under duress, finds Elijah Martin. Ngom attempted to go over the middle, will be headed back to Muse. Gonzalez was wiped out after the ball got away from him. Clementa swings and misses. Dillon gets a touch to that ball, trying to fight off his defender here. Big physical presence, and Dillon somewhat used to not getting whistles to go his way. He usually gives about as good as he gets when pressing a back line.
That's the sometime plague of being the big man. Contact on other players might be called, but they don't tend to get it as often.
A couple bodies hit the deck, and it looks like this will lead to a free kick and a call to the headmaster's office for Colin Martin. Leyva restarts to Sissoko. Gonzalez. Now just didn't connect with his cross, and it was knocked out for a corner. Second of the match for Tacoma. A set piece led to the opening goal for San Diego. Back in the 31st, can Tacoma manage the equalizer the same way? We're into the first of 2 minutes of added time we'll play here at Cheney Stadium. As Reynolds set for the outswinger. Reynolds into the mixer, loose ball, and smashed into touch on the far side by Elijah Martin. Hopiao to the corner flag. Wins the corner, taken quickly. Leyva. Defiance forced back behind midfield. Couple of crunching challenges there. Bicycle kick clearance puts the ball out the sideline from Leyva.
I think he just did that to prove he could.
Waning seconds of the first half here. Colin Martin finds Ngom. Ngom serving that ball in. Atwahene got a touch to it. Might have been off his arm. But in any event, that is the final touch of the half. San Diego Loyal SC taking a lead to the break 1-0. We'll take a break here on ESPN+. 30 seconds. Welcome back into Cheney Stadium here in Tacoma, Washington. It is halftime between Tacoma Defiance and San Diego Loyal SC. San Diego leading 1-0 on a 31st minute goal from Atwa Hene on the set piece. Welcome back in here on ESPN+. I'm Andrew Harvey alongside Dave Clark. Dave, lots of great action here, lots for us to try to wrap our heads around. But before we do, let's take a look. We'd show you ordinarily other scores going on at this time. This is the only match in the USL Championship tonight, so here are some fixtures to keep your eye on in the days to come.
Yeah, there's some great USL action later this week. For your Western Conference fans, that Monarchs versus Phoenix Rising game is going to be huge. If you're on the East Coast, it's not on the board, but the Miami FC and Tampa Bay Rowdies are playing this weekend. That one's going to be great for the people of Florida.
Absolutely. Just going to be two clubs that have some history, don't like each other very much, and it's never too early for rivalry week, Dave.
No, love early rivalries when the season's still young and fresh and a little bit bitter and cold at the same time.
Hey, speaking of early, let's take a look at the standings. And obviously, nothing to differentiate any of these sides so far, but you know, Dave, it's impressive how often some of these clubs start to really slip away and distinguish themselves in the Western Conference once they get a couple games under their belt.
Well, it should surprise no one that Phoenix Rising already has a goal differential of +5 after one match. They're starting 2020 right where 2019 ended, going again for that shield in the regular season and get some unfinished business in the second season.
Absolutely, and of course, the man really who was responsible for a lot of those goals, Rufat Dashidov, was the USL Championship Player of the Week, and that kicks off our look around what is going on in the USL Championship right now. Dashidov, just a prolific performance for him that he had last week, and well-deserved honor.
Yeah, not only did Dashidov get the Player of the Week, but Phoenix Rising is the only team to have two players in the Team of the Week. Huge performance from them. When you outscore your opponent by 5 goals, you're going to make that run. And we saw Francois here with Reno 1868 last week, and his work on the flank opened up a lot of space for them. Solomon Asante making the Team of the Week. That's should it just be called the Solomon Asante Team of the Week at this point?
Who can say, but certainly he's a frequent flyer on that program. Well, other important news from around the league, obviously.
Well, the other thing to look at is the Goal of the Week action. There's a tight contest between number 1 and number 2 in the Goal of the Week. When you watch the highlights of this one, you'll see why these early contests. Asante there, he's kind of trailing, but Phoenix Rising fans will probably wake up and give him a few extra votes. One of the benefits of Wednesday night action, those vote tallies are still going.
Yeah, just some great candidates, and like you mentioned, the vote tallies. If you have not yet voted for your Goal of the Week candidate, by the way, Junior Burgos scoring against San Diego, and that one probably going to be a Goal of the Year contender. A couple other good ones here. Don't forget that you can go to uslchampionship.com to cast your vote for what you think should be the Goal of the Week. Here's Leo Fernandez for Tampa Bay Rowdies, and they will, of course, be looking for something similar when they take on the Miami FC. And, of course, our final note in the USL Championship this week, as we mentioned, the USL Championship recently launched its app, the official league app, and it's a pretty great app, Dave. One of my favorite things about it is that you can get live video of goals as they occur.
Yeah, it's great to get those goal updates. You'll get one like we see here with Tacoma Defiance, the first goal of the 2020 season, as Chris Hagart banged it in to open up a 1-0 lead. Reno 1868 would catch. And all of those goals of the week, you'll see them basically as they happen on the USL app.
Absolutely, so be sure to download that. You can find it in your app store. Well, once again, San Diego Loyal leading Tacoma Defiance 1-0 through 45 minutes. We'll take another break here on ESPN+. Welcome back into Cheney Stadium here on ESPN Plus and in Tacoma, Washington. San Diego Loyal leading 1-0 over Tacoma Defiance through 45 minutes. Well, Dave, it's been an eventful 45 minutes. Just the one goal, but a lot of pretty close opportunities for either one of these teams.
Yeah, there's been action going both ways, and there's certain things that either coach can look at as positives. For Tacoma Defiance, the stat that they're going to love, that Chris Little is going to love, is going to be the duels won. Tacoma Defiance took that one 33-11. Anytime a team is winning that many duels, they're going to wind up with more opportunities by the end of the game. Now, of course, what Landon Donovan's going to love, well, he's got the goal. And anytime you get up a goal and you're on the road, you're going to enjoy that. They maintain possession mostly in that central third, as we talked about throughout the early match. Besides that, it's pretty even between the two sides.
Absolutely. Passing accuracy, kind of an interesting stat. Both these organizations, San Diego might be new, but certainly Tacoma prides themselves on connecting with their teammates better than that, and I know that Landon Donovan has very high expectations for the San Diego Loyal side.
Well, I'd imagine that a coach wants them to play as he played, and that's going to be one that passes well and attacks frequently. Absolutely. So he'll be happy with those. 76% is about where you expect a USL Championship side that's playing okay to be.
And it is still early in the season, these teams finding themselves. Well, one man who found the back of the net was Francis Atwahene. He did it in the 31st minute off this set piece from Colin Martin. We'll see it now for our halftime highlight. And just a great redirect from Atwahene. And you have to wonder, there's a lot of bodies around him in black and not much coverage.
Yeah, there's a couple men that peeled off too tight to that service. And instead, he should have been bracketed. He only had one behind him. And while there is contact, there wasn't enough contact to prevent him from scoring that goal.
Well, this Tacoma side, Dave, finds themselves behind the score line. They were leading last week. It didn't work out for them. What has to change here in the second half for them to get an equalizer, maybe take all 3 points at home?
I want to see them be more aggressive on those opportunities. When that ball pops loose, and it's popped loose from that central third frequently, unfortunately there's one man from Defiance that's able to pounce forward, and he's not got the support. We saw that with Justin Dillon when he crossed the ball. There was no one there for him to cross it to. So I want to see them do that. On the other side, Landon Donovan has to like what his team's doing. He'll want them to win a few more duels. You can't win only 25% of your duels and win a game.
Oh, you can see it right there. The gates to the stadium may be closed, but that has not stopped several Tacoma Defiant faithful from showing up to the stadium here tonight. They are watching from, Dave, I forget what the name for that is. It's Sheepsgate Hill?
I believe Tightwad Hill.
Tightwad Hill up there across the street. Well, they'd love to be inside the stadium, but once again, Washington Governor Jay Inslee ordering this match and pretty much every match in the greater the Pierce, King, and Snohomish County area to be played behind closed doors for the foreseeable future due to the ongoing coronavirus situation, which once again, we hope that everyone out there is healthy and safe as the teams retake the field for the start of the second half.
And to keep track of where and when your team's playing, if you're watching in San Diego, go to sdloyal.com. If you're watching in Tacoma, follow wearetacoma.com and tacdefiance.com to stay up to date. Social media from the USL Championship, as well as both teams, shall be the best way to keep track of when those rescheduled matches will be.
Certainly some changes going on. San Diego announcing just earlier this afternoon that their match, which was set to take place several days from now on the 14th, will be replayed on July 29th against Rio Grande Valley FC Toros. And Tacoma, meanwhile, has rescheduled its March 22nd match against Oklahoma City Energy FC to a date that will be determined later.
Out on the pitch now, San Diego Loyal doing a nice starburst warm-up. Looks a lot brighter than typical with those orange kits.
And certainly no excuses tonight for a defender to lose track of any of them. Dave, looking at this Tacoma bench, obviously they've already had to go to that bench to bring on Anthony Burke for the injured Alex Roldan in the first half of the right back position. But who else might be able to come on and make an impact?
I'm going to look at either Perez or Ocampo Chavez to provide that attacking spark. Those are the two places I expect Chris Little to go. Ocampo Chavez provided a lot of energy as a left wing late last season, scoring essentially all of his goals in the second half, 5 goals in the second half of the season. And then Perez provides so much energy and spark as an attacking forward or a defending forward, a forward that attacks the ball when they don't have possession.
Justin Dillon looking to get us underway to start the second half here, and he a player who had a couple touches on the ball but had a tough time getting involved in that first half.
His best sequence was the cross that wound up going nowhere. Landon Donovan's bench. Landon Donovan's bench also has some attacking power on it with Kudus Lawal available, the former Sounders 2 player who had great success with Fresno FC last year.
Certainly, San Diego would love to get a second goal in the early phases of this second half. Force Tacoma even deeper in the hole as Sissoko goes back to Muse. And is cleaned out after a quick pass inside. Tacoma restarted play quickly, and it looked for a second like Guardia was going to his pocket there. He now still conceivably could issue a yellow card at this next stoppage in play. And it looks as though he just wanted to have a word with Ngom.
He got in only one word with that quick of a restart.
One of the things this Tacoma organization really values. Just putting the ball down and playing. You can catch a lot of people unawares. Gonzalez here. Clattering cleanup on the back half from Ngom will lead to a third corner of the match for Tacoma. Low ball in. Robles got a touch to it, but it's cleared away. Atwahene, the goal scorer. Has knocked it out of play, and it will be a Tacoma ball. Underlap there, not going to reach Anthony Burke. But Clementa unable to square his hips. Burke wants it. Dillon played off for Robles. Tried the back heel chop, no good. Avila into space for Ngom. Broken up by a sliding Reynolds. Atencio. The return, Robles inside the penalty area, and Colin Martin does enough to clear his lines. Promising looking stuff from Tacoma, but no shot.
They have exploded out into the second half.
Long through ball looking for Dillon here. Dillon, a player that kind of lulls center backs to sleep sometimes because of his size. You'd expect him to be slower than he is, essentially, and he's pretty fleet of foot, Dave.
Yeah, he likes to play very mobile. At the end of the game Friday, Coach Little said he couldn't recognize his team that came out in the second half. And I think this one went the opposite way. He can't recognize them based off of their first half play to what they're doing now, and this is everything he wants to see from Tacoma.
Leyva turns, finds Burke. Here's Avila. Stoneman. And Offside is Atwahene, who came back to play the ball.
Furious, fast, instinctive. This is the way Defiance want to play their system.
Dillon knocks that ball down. Elijah Martin back to Kempin, the goalkeeper. Robles coming for the pressure. Ngom up the far side. Robles, normally sure-footed player, Dave, has had the ball get caught up in his feet a couple times tonight. You don't see that very often.
Not from him. He usually plays the ball quickly off. And tonight, whether it's in the penalty area or just then, he hasn't had that opportunity to be the snap passer that he's best at.
There he is, mislaying another pass. Long header forward. Clementa underneath it. Hopiau intercepts.
Hopiau read that ball like a Trufant does out in the defensive backfield of an NFL game.
One of those great Tacoma families, the Trufants. Local legends. And Dave, local legends are kind of something that Tacoma Defiance is highlighting this year, along with obviously their affiliate partners, the Tacoma Rainiers of AAA Minor League Baseball. A lot of great stuff over at wearetacoma.com, which I know you'll be bashful talking about because you're responsible for most of it, but it's great content.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. We spotlight fans. We spotlight the people of Tacoma there. Recently wrote about one of the captains, a tugboat captain down on the bay. The only woman that's a tugboat captain in all of Puget Sound. Captain Katrina Anderson. She may even just be watching this evening. She's a big soccer fan.
Robles turning under pressure. Settles for another throw-in on the far sideline. Reynolds sliding it through for Gonzalez. Lovely ball, but just a little too far inside, Dave.
Yeah, I think Gonzalez's first three strides were as if that ball he had no chance to get, and if he had pursued that with the energy he typically does, he's in on goal.
Might be able to hear there those Defiant fans from outside the stadium able to get a glimpse in, doing what they can to lend some atmosphere to a match being played behind closed doors. Makangila gone over the top for Avila. He's onside here. Muse off his line, he'll have to retreat, and the flag has gone up after Avila became involved in active play. That was a near thing. He looked on to me, Dave.
We don't have a great angle there, but it was he was close enough to on that Trey Muse didn't quit playing, which you want to see from Trey Muse, to not quit playing. But also, that was a tight call. I'm the type of man that wants to see a forward push that line that tight. I don't think getting called for offside is a bad thing, unless you're several yards offside.
Hopiau's handled that ball Free kick for San Diego. Hopi out here. Dylan, Robles trying to play it right over the top to Gonzalez. You could see what the idea in his head was. Didn't connect the way he'd hoped. Kempen. Thunderous kick past midfield. Hopiau can square it for Dylan here. Dylan gets it past Kempen. We're level at 1. The calls will come for offside, but Dylan was behind the ball. And Defiance have pulled level, and a yellow card's just been issued to Stoneman for dissent as well.
Shannon Hopiau working that right flank as he does so well, and the cutback pass. Justin Dillon with the hockey-style redirect for that BECU big money goal.
Well, that'll bring some belief back to this Tacoma side. Like you said, Dave, they were really pressing these first 10 minutes of the second half, and now they have a goal to show for it.
Yeah, what we need to see from Tacoma is something that they try to do frequently, but need to do better at, and that's keep pressuring. Don't fail. Don't fail on your energy. Don't let down, and don't give San Diego the opportunity to get back into that game.
Muse under pressure here from Atuahene and Makangila. Makangila finds Atuahene. Ngom. Broken up by Leva.
San Diego just slowing down the pace a little bit now.
Still a long way to go in this one. Dylan underneath that ball. Flips it out wide. Robles, bit of a push through the back, but again, this is the USL Championship. When you're in the pro levels, there's a lot of jostling. And there's some more of it along the far touchline. Robles gone ahead here. Square ball, Hopiau. Hopiau has it stick to his feet. Robles, big touch from him. Dylan lets it ride. It's smashed downfield by Clementa. What a deft first touch from Abdole Sissoko.
You don't often see a highlight field touch on that kind of moment, but
big overlap here for Burke. Burke, another option to the inside. That's a high lofting ball and just bounced up on Burke at the last possible second. Pardon the interruption there, Dave. The action took us away. Flipped ahead for Gonzalez. The flag stays down. Worked inside. Reynolds looks for the return. Quick cross from Reynolds. Loose to the back post, and a redirect forces the save from Kempen. That'll be a corner.
Solid one touch there from Shannon Hopiau, and that intricate ball work by Danny Reynolds and Ezreal Gonzalez to open up the space and get that ball into Hopiau where he could make that attempt on goal was wonderful.
Kempen playing it well there, just can't quite hold it in play. We'll see now the introduction of Jack Metcalf, the Englishman, former Liverpool and Wolverhampton Wanderers Academy product. Last 2 years with Atlanta United too. Now Danny Reynolds for a corner from the near side. Kempen comes for it, brave in traffic, and it'll be cleared away.
I'm going to watch a few replays of that arc because I think that's the third time Danny Reynolds has sent one in that if untouched goes in the net.
Certainly the man from UNC Wilmington. Looks like he has a lot to contribute to this side, and Gonzalez a couple yards offside there. That's an easy spot for the assistant referee. Well, the USL Championship makes its regular season debut on ESPN Deportes Friday, March 27th. Two of the top contenders in the East meet as the Tampa Bay Rowdies host Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC. It's the championship on ESPN Deportes from Tampa Bay Friday, March 27th at 4 p.m. Pacific. Here's Cheyenne. Colin Martin wants Metcalf. Stoneman looking for Atuahene. Well played there, finds Avila. The return, Moshobane, and Muse has it scooped up. Well, the South African striker combining well there, and Justin Dillon has that one doink right off the back of his head. Another look at that last shot from Moshobane. This is Atencio. Slides it toward Dillon. And Tacoma taking space well entering the final third, but all the balls, Dave, have just been a little bit behind their intended targets, apart from that cutback cross to Dillon for the goal.
Yes, but it's one of those things, you keep repeating it, you're going to find the open man there. Josh Atencio will want that ball back and send it into Azriel Gonzalez, who's open on his left flank unmarked, as opposed to the crowded point for Justin Dillon.
Has it back. Leyva. Overlap here. It's Hopiau. And that one stumbles through. As, forgive me, it was Anthony Burke who, well, made the run, now just gave away that free kick. Easy to lose track of Burke sometimes. For a right back, he gets awfully involved down the pitch, Dave.
Well, he still wants to be a number 10 sometimes. He's just going to be a number 10 from the right back.
Played a number of positions at this club alone. Came in as a kind of a holding midfielder. Spent a little bit of time out on the wing. And then last year, a lot of the time when Denzo Ulysses was away with the Haitian national team, slotted in at that right back, did well enough that Chris Little gave him the job.
It's kind of the tradition in the organization to take an attacking midfielder and convert them to a right back.
Mueller over the top for Dillon. Broken up by Clementa. Atuahene thought he'd won the first corner of the night for San Diego. Referee saw things differently. Big switch in space, picked up by Reynolds. He's going to drive forward. Look at Dillon steaming ahead. The long cross into the area. Kempen does enough to break up Dillon's run and shepherd it out for a goal kick.
That was a well-played ball by Kempen there. He created just enough traffic that the only way Dillon could get a touch was in an unsafe manner.
Lyndon Donovan wants to make another change. He'll bring on Kudus Lawal. look at that last ball from Reynolds. Pretty impressive pace, like we mentioned, out of Justin Dillon to get there. Yair Hayen, the man who will make way for Lawal. He was an absolute pest for Tacoma through 64 minutes of this contest. I imagine Lawal plans to give the Defiance more of the same.
He's a big body that sits up top. 10 goals last year with Fresno.
And already you see Atwahene drifting out wide to the left. Metcalf ahead for Moshobane. Low slotted effort picked up by Muse.
Muse wanted the quick restart, but his attack couldn't unfold fast enough for him.
Into the near side, Elijah Martin. Makangila. Moshabane. This is Lawal's first involvement. Slides that through nicely for Atwahene. Atwahene onto his right now. Tried to scuff it back to the inside and he trips up. How about the vision there from Lawal? Dillon looking to turn off of Clementa. Knocked back to Kempen.
Dillon's going to talk to his teammates about a little bit of support. 1 versus 3 isn't a fun life.
Makangila from Metcalf out wide. Metcalf surveying, wants Lawal up the middle. He'll do battle with Sissoko. Drop back Metcalf. Elijah Martin. Now Atwahene. He'll have a go from distance. That forces a diving stop from Muse. Well, the Ghanaian making things interesting for Tacoma Defiance here in the 68th minute. Well, that stoppage in play will lead to Tacoma Defiance's second change.
This one's a little bit interesting in that we're going to see Tino Perez do something different tonight than he did last week. Perez is entering for Danny Reynolds. Last year, Perez was 4th in the nation for collegiate assists. So that 10-hole is where he was a specialist.
So Perez on, Robles off. Stoneman here and over to Clementa. Lawal was offside there. Well, fans follow Tacoma Defiance and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+. Home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the nearly 8 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com. Wide from Colin Martin. Knocked back to Trey Muse with Elijah Martin pressing up to add a little more pressure. Didn't get that far forward in the first half, did Elijah Martin, Dave, but now as the minutes are wearing on, he's taking his chances to venture downfield.
Yeah, San Diego in their defensive setup is playing about as high as I've seen them play. Sometimes it's only Stoneman back on Dillon with everybody else about 35 yards from Trey Muse in defense.
You get the sense that Landon Donovan wants to go on the road, make a statement, get the first win in club history. That ball just gets caught up in the air. Drops in for Makangila, however. Avila pushing it out wide. Cut back cross, but the only man there is Danny Leyva, and he'll clear it away. Reynolds feeling like a man on an island, looking for an option here. Goes downfield, and it's more or less immediately cleared away by Stoneman. Lawal turns, and that's a pretty much an open field tackle from Sissoko there. Well, sometimes that's what you need to try to take care of a big body like Lawal. And the flag up for offside.
A well-timed step from Sissoko and Mueller on that one.
72nd minute, level 1-1 here at Cheney Stadium in Tacoma. Justin Dillon bagged the equalizer back in the 56th on a low cross in from Shannon Hopiau from the near side. So 3 points, all for the taking for either one of these sides. They can rally over these final 18 minutes. Here comes Burke. Burke serves that ball in, it's behind Dillon. Chino Perez. Gonzalez, and that one finds the wrong side of the net. Redirected there by Stoneman. Fifth corner of the match for Tacoma. San Diego still hasn't had the opportunity to take one. Reynolds slices a narrow one. It's into the hands of Kempen. He's just going to roll that out from Moshobane. The South African tripped up there by a slide tackling Leyva.
Unnecessary slide tackle there because San Diego Loyal was out on the run. Makangila. Stepped through traffic, was looking for an opportunity to play the ball and was tripped up there by Chino Perez. Free kick on advantage. One of the few times that the referee can be easily pedantic about where the ball lands is when it's on the wrong side of the center line. Colin Martin finds Lawal. Lawal pressing through traffic here. What a run from Lawal. In the end, it's broken up. It will trickle toward the near side touchline before being cleared back into the field. And now gone ahead for Dillon. He in a foot race with Clemente. He's in the wide position. Chino Perez cutting inside. So is Dillon. Dillon on his left foot. And I just kind of think the earth shifted in front of Justin Dillon there as he wound that one up. He had the pitching wedge out on that. Needed the 3-iron.
Here's that high press we mentioned for Chino Perez. Avila fighting to retain possession in the center circle. Makangila can't find Atuahene. Metcalf quickly in. Moshobane. Moshobane lays off for Lawal. It's broken up by Leyva. Tacoma hoping to play on the break. A big collision coming on the far sideline. And Clementa causing Chino Perez to realize that the better part of valor there is just to jump over that tackle. Play going to hold up now. There's a Defiance player down behind the run of play, and that is Abdole Sissoko. I'll stay up to date with news and highlights from across the USL Championship and League One by downloading the official league app today. Search United Soccer League in the App Store or in Google Play and download today to enjoy news, giveaways, competitions, and more. Tacoma Defiance trainer Sheila Tatsunami out there to check on Sissoko, who's been an important feature for this Tacoma team tonight.
There's a short bench for center backs right now. There's none. Coach Chris Little just doesn't have those options right now. Sam Rogers is down with the USU 23s, helping them prepare for CONCACAF Olympic qualifying. He's not part of that roster, but they needed a body. So the options available here might be Jesse Daly and slide Josh Atencio back into a center back role, something that he's capable of doing.
Meanwhile, Landon Donovan has made his third and final change of the match, bringing on Charlie Adams, the first goal scorer in San Diego Loyal SC club history. Atuahene, the second earlier tonight in the 31st minute. And Adams, the midfielder, maybe looking to make another breakthrough. Avila, the overlap here, it's Elijah Martin. Curling cross, knocked away. Moshobane. Avila, balls behind Lawal. Avila has it back. Slides it in. Adams finds Metcalf on the far side. Metcalf, driven ball. Lawal gets the first touch, goes down, and a loose ball cleared off the line and into the hands of Muse. Atuahene nearly bagged his second of the night, and it's turned aside by Anthony Burke.
Yeah, Trey Muse should get Anthony Burke a gift for that. Little thank you message, maybe a watch or something.
Dillon now going to press this ball. Kempin slides in on it. Well, here's another look, and this, Dave, eerily similar to what proved to be Defiance's second concession of the night last week against Reno.
Yeah, Mueller's trying to get to that ball, can't get there quite fast enough. Muse is out of the net, and Anthony Burke just in the perfect space to deflect that back. Trey Muse then gets his paw on the ball.
And Defiance fortunate in that last break. They still have 11 minutes to see out here, and that's just to earn a point against San Diego Loyal at home. They want to take all three. Over the top, they find Metcalf. Metcalf's driven cross just headed away from the wall. Still drops into the backside. Avila's there. Low cross into the middle. Rocketed toward goal.
I think Lawal saved that one, unfortunately for San Diego. Saved it with his head.
That's the risk of being a number 9 that no one ever talks about. Is sure, you have to deal with getting mugged by center backs and getting cleaned out, going up for balls in the air. Every now and again, you get hit in the head by a shot from your own teammate.
Here's San Diego with a lot of space after they break out of that scrum.
Loping up the far side goes Metcalf. He's won the first corner of the night for the visitors. Again, their only goal this evening came from a set piece. As it is now Metcalf out to take it. Adams showing some near side option and a lot of options inside the 18. Metcalf's cross. High arching ball. The wall is there. He takes it on the half volley. Back to his left foot. Rolls through traffic and turned aside. Looked like Danny Reynolds who got a foot to it. Metcalf from the near side. That's easily dealt with. Pardon me, easier to deal with for Anthony Burke. Easierly, Dave. New adventures in grammar and syntax. Atwahene sends that ball out wide. Stoneman is there. He steps topside, drives a low ball for goal, and it bounces into the hands of Muse. Stoneman now has to recover quickly. Muse drives a low ball past midfield, but right to Makangila. Great pickup by Avila. He rolls that ball out wide. Elijah Martin's there. Cross on the ground. Nicked away at the back post by Danny Reynolds. Dillon tries to recover the ball. And Avila covers a lot of ground coming back just to win it back for his side.
4 men in black on that last cross in front of goal, and took the last one of them to get a touch on it.
Certainly San Diego circling closer and closer these last several minutes. A lot of players seem to want the referee's attention for something. I'm not sure what for. Here's Chino Perez, scooped out wide. Dillon back into the middle for Perez. Stoneman is also there, and he'll just tuck that out for a throw-in.
Stoneman's asking for an offside on Justin Dillon, who didn't attempt to play the ball.
And Chris Little will make his final change of the match. Alfonso Ocampo Chavez will check on here for Azriel Gonzalez. Gonzalez had some good moves up the wing, had an opportunity that could have been a goal with a headed effort that sailed just over the crossbar in the first half. Chino Perez turns topside. Anthony Burke has a go. Well, puts that one wide, but gave something to think about to John Kempen. Atwahene dispossessed there with the sliding challenge. Leyva loops this to the outside. Hopiau tracks it and can't quite hold it in play.
Lawal has had the better of that Sissoko-Lawal matchup so far this evening.
Makangila back for Stoneman. Tacoma pressing here. They want the win. So does San Diego, however. There's Lawal fighting through a couple of hard challenges. And now a ball played into space. Metcalf is there. Is he onside? The flag stays down. Cross back in front of goal. Atuahene! His second of the night. And the visitors lead in the closing minutes. Another quick developing play. Curtis Lawal still down at midfield. But the quick open field switch leads to the second goal for the visitors.
And it started with Lawal getting fouled. Advantage is played wide open into space. And Atuahene gets the step on Taylor Mueller. One-on-one with Muse, just 7 yards from the goal.
Lawal down here. Trainer's going to come on. Again, San Diego has used all of their substitutions. Lawal, of course, the last of theirs to come on. There it is right there. You just see that left foot get caught up a little bit and almost kind of looks like he got his own leg there as he was shuffling around trying to continue playing that ball. And come off under his own power, and Tacoma will restart play. You see Luis Guardia, the referee, telling Lawal he can rejoin play only when he says, and he's just given the signal. Tacoma playing quickly as long as they can with the man advantage. The referee beckoned for Lawal right after first play, and Lawal rejoins play now as Kempen smothers that ball in his own penalty area.
Stoneman telling every single San Diego player to get as far up pitch as possible.
Makangila brings that ball down, finds Avila. Gone ahead for Lawal, who's moving very well after that last injury. He cuts to his left. Lawal strikes for goal, and Muse, well, made the save, couldn't keep it in play. And San Diego in no hurry whatsoever to take this corner.
Lawal still feeling the effects from the earlier injury. Nifty little dribble here to cross up Taylor Mueller and open up space for Curtis Lawal.
Bit early yet to just play corner ball. I expect we'll see this played. As we say that, Atuahene drifting near side. Avila stood straight up by Chino Perez, who's looking to dribble free and is taken down by Atuahene. And Atuahene has a yellow card to go with his booking, his brace, I should say, pardon me.
This might actually be a smart yellow card because Perez is opening up to get on the gallop with few San Diego players behind him.
'89th minute now, Defiance trailing by a goal at home. Leyva back to his feet after a hard collision at midfield. Of course, as Defiance throw more numbers forward, more opportunities will open up for San Diego, who've won a free kick on the far side. Daniel Leyva pulls Makangila off the ground, who is told to get on with it by the referee. Ball chipped over the top. Lawal is there, and he's offside. Hopiau double teamed here. San Diego Loyal now planning to defend very intently, try to protect this lead. Four minutes, the minimum added here in the second half at Cheney Stadium. We're into it now. Chino Perez pulls that ball out of trouble, scoops it ahead, but Elijah Martin gets it as far as Stoneman. Time short for Tacoma Defiance. Reynolds, the big crossfield ball, Hopiau underneath it. Hopiau strikes that on the volley, came off a defender, and will be a corner. Well, Tacoma have been very close a number of times. San Diego claiming that shot came off of Justin Dillon before going out of play. San Diego player rolled the ball into the penalty area to further delay the restart of play. Here's Reynolds. Reynolds, low-driven ball, flash header at the near post, and goal kick. The end result, Sissoko was the one to send it out. Kempin's not happy with that ball. He'll be cautioned.
Match 2 of the season. No coach is going to be upset with a yellow for a time wasting in what is potentially their first victory of existence.
And Tacoma can't hold the ball in play. More time for San Diego to run off the clock here. Avila. The wall bound for the corner, and he's just going to use that big frame of his to tie up as many resources as he can. Burke forced to send it into the middle of the field. Dillon gets a header to it, brings it down. Trying to muscle his way past Stoneman. And it's come off Dillon, San Diego's ball. The wall flicks it along. Mueller sends it back into traffic. Makangila sends it right back. Ocampo Chavez making the run over the top, broken up very nicely, I might add, by Metcalf on the backside. Reynolds teeing up what looks like a long throw, keeps it short. And Tacoma rushing here, Dave. You can see the finesse is gone from their touch.
They're going to have just over a minute to try to work magic and earn the draw coming from behind.
Flick on header. Leyva. Here's Dillon. Atencio. Out wide for Reynolds. Reynolds cross. Headed away. Makangila sends it further. Tacoma. Last chances for them. Low ball, Sissoko finds Reynolds. Driven ball into the area. Headed out here, rolling toward the corner flag, but goes into touch. Burke will take the throw. We've played the announced 4. Long throw, Kempin thought about coming for it. Doesn't go, Hopiau shoots, shots blocked. Chino Perez fires one. Ocampo Chavez is upended in the box. Nothing given, says the referee. Both players had their legs up in the air. Leyva, his attempted ball in is blocked by Atuahene, who may have pulled up the last-minute heroics. The whistle's in Luis Guardia's mouth, and San Diego Loyal, on the back of a brace from Francis Atuahene, has the first win in club history here at Cheney Stadium. Now a big night for the young franchise, Dave.
It's a big night. They'll be proud of it. They earned it tonight. Atuahene with the brace and the yellow. Going down in history as the goal scorer and game winner for Landon Donovan's side. It was well earned from a team that fought hard.
So 1-0-1 on the season now for San Diego. 4 points for them. And a very good win on the road. Tacoma Defiance 0-2-0, still looking for their first point in league play. Again, both these teams have had their next match rescheduled to later dates to be announced, so keep your eyes tuned to their respective websites and social media channels for upcoming games. Dave, your final thoughts on this one?
I think what Coach Chris Little will take from this is that when Justin Dillon's on the squad, he knows that he's going to get a goal. The question is, who's going to provide that second goal for Tacoma Defiance?
Well, one last time, your final score from Cheney Stadium, San Diego Loyal SC 2, Tacoma Defiance 1. That's going to do it for us here in Tacoma. For all of us here on ESPN Plus, including Dave Clark, I'm Andrew Harvey saying so long, thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you next time.
Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.